What we're doing here today is PH has provided me with what movie? Oh, I saw Hamnet. It was fine. I didn't love it. PH has provided me with 3 recent Swamp segments. I think they're all from runs. Maybe one of them was from a Dirty 30. I don't remember what he ended up doing. With the idea being that we can take a look at, instead of just a PB review where you see like unusually good versions of everything, like you look at someone's PB and it's like, oh yeah, well of course you hit that because it's your PB, so like most things went well. All 3 of these are real swamps from runs. Okay, great. So hopefully by looking at 3 of them from just like 3 recent runs, we should get a good idea of like what kind of things normally happen, what goes well and what goes poorly, and we can take a look. So yeah, we'll get started. I just clicked on the first link he sent me. I don't know anything about these swamps ahead of time. It looks like we're doing just Ether and Swamp. All right, first of all, did we do this? Second was unusually good. All right, cool. Yeah, this is fine. You don't need to dash unless you really want to. So you can do this however you want. This was safe. We'll see some more, so I don't know if there's risk. I really like the menu to hookshot here. Oh no, you don't have hookshot. Sorry, that's for when you're going to swamp. Yeah, you just kind of have to deal with this one. I guess you could menu there if you really. Did we need to move left here? Probably not, but it's fine. Okay. This is fine. You can probably face right a little later. I guess it's fine. Turning to face down here is a little weird. It's not a big deal, but you don't need to. You probably just want to swap to down right. I don't really think you lost any time here going for it, but I accidentally changed the speed. And then, so do you know the Ether Quick Warp, the Casnode setup? There's basically 2 things you can do here to go for the Quick Warp. One of them is like using the pause menu to get to just walk into it perfectly, which is totally fine if you want to go for that. It's a little bit try hard, in my opinion. The Casnode Quick Warp setup is really easy. You can learn it from that video pretty quickly. All you have to do is here you run up diagonal until you line up with this, and then you hold right and you sort of rub against this a little bit, and then you overshoot and then walk into it from the right, and that gives you the quick warp. And getting this quick warp is really good because your camera doesn't change, so if you neutral dash to the left, every other frame is another quick warp. You can just hold, you can just stand still and hold and just dash immediately, and then you're 50-50 to get the quick warp, and you can like read if you're on the right one or not. I don't think that beaming that guy is bad, but I also think you probably could have not done it. Like, I think that since he's already still and he's like about to move out of the way, I think I would take my chances with the dash here, but maybe I'm greedy. Anyway, we'll see how Death Mountain goes later. Okay, good bird dash. Why does that work? Why does the quick warp setup work? I don't know the specifics. It just puts you a pixel. I don't know anything more than that. This seems good. So any pixel that you hit the warp on, you can just hold down right. You don't need to ever walk right before swapping to down right. So this looks good, but then you take kind of a long step before dashing down. I wonder if you like thought that you were too far left or something. I think as long as you're lined up with this grass, you're safe to go straight down. So that would have been fine. The screen is really hard and I'm really bad at it. You just get good RNG. Kind of the ideal thing to do. Okay, so we're only going for one quick warp here. I think that's fine. Going to the left, deranged behavior, but it's fine. That's fine. Oh, you're not gonna get it. You guys don't have audio, but PH shouted, "Oh, I'm going for it." So if the anti-fairy is already actually touching this, I don't think you can make it without winning a lot of frame rolls. If he's like a frame earlier, like a little bit away from actually bumping it, I'll try it. And again, I think that only going for one quick warp here is like perfectly fine if you want. So let's see. You got a 209. So a really, really good swamp entrance, like I think it's like a 203 or something, 202. I'm pretty happy with like 205s, honestly, 204, 205. So we could definitely save time here. What was that from? We beamed a dead rock potentially unnecessarily. We did a bird walk instead of a bird dash. We missed 3 quick warps and we ran into an anti-fairy. Like that's a lot of small things that have already added up a pretty significant amount. So definitely possible to tighten up some small things in the overworld. Okay, well that was a mistake, but get lucky on the Phelps. All right, so PH is discussing what bomb to pick up because he's going to need one for Ice Red Cave. And he was thinking that it was a little bit too late to actually do it in time. But yes, I think it is correct that this is the best bomb to get. If you have 23 arrows, you don't need restock room, so you can just go ahead and grab this. I don't think it's a lot faster than just grabbing the bomb and restock room, but it's a little bit. Okay, remembers to menu before mirroring. This dash, you save time with this dash. If you're doing this regularly, that's great. But you do have to get the frame perfect cancel to save time with this dash. You can just hold down left out of the door until you line up with this and then walk over, and it loses like 4 frames or whatever. So you can just go for the Hellway if you want, but if you don't want to go for the frame perfect dash cancel, then just walking is not a big deal. Nice. So what happened here? Go for it, but shouldn't. I mean, I think it's fine to go for stuff that's just like if you think it's fun or whatever. I think I know what happened here, but I am interested in what you would say happened here. Why we walked into this guy. I think there are 2 possible answers, and I'm not sure which one is the real one. Flash too early? Okay. So I like that. I mean, obviously I don't like that you messed up, but I like that you go for the slash. Bitey sometimes advocates for squeezing against this corner here, but I think that getting this guy dead is really good because you have to come back by him again 2 more times, and I think that it's worth just killing him. But if you just like slightly mistime the lockout frames, then that's fine. Fine. I can hear you, yes. Oh, okay. So this is well, maybe you were worried about the Stalfos or something? Is there a way to navigate by shorter chunks in Twitch browser? Oh. Okay, so first of all here, you actually switch to up for no particular reason. Like, you're going to be walking diagonal for a while. If your plan, which it looks like your plan is to walk all the way up here before dashing, then there's no reason to turn up maybe at any point. Maybe this is just a D-pad issue or whatever. But like, by doing this unnecessary movement, I'm harping on it because it's unnecessary. If you switch to up here, it wouldn't have cost you anything, but because you're doing it here, you actually walked into this rail for a couple frames for no reason, so it cost you, 10 frames or whatever. Maybe not that many. The way I do this, I walk up here, I just pump up the wall like maybe 5 frames or whatever and dash right from like right below the pot. So, you could get a little bit more of a dash. I don't think that this is particularly bad though if you just like it. You're losing maybe 3 tiles of dashing, which is, not that much. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I understand. This is why we wanted to slash him earlier. I get it. I think that in this actual scenario, your best bet is to just be brave and dash and not slash him. Why do I think that? I think that because he's already moved. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I wouldn't have slashed there. Here, you're actually a little bit low here. This is something I see almost everybody do slightly wrong. So people like to often pump. You're just walking left. I don't know, whatever. People often pump here and they end up staying too low. But you want to basically walk diagonal all the way to the path where you're actually going to walk left here. And you can slash this, maybe not from literally that high, but from really close. Oops, wrong button. And you're slashing it from a little low. Not a big deal, but just a couple frames, This is fine. Obviously, it's fun to like measure how close to the blue, how far onto the blue you get, but totally fine. Oh, was that on purpose, or did you tap A there to delay? That's probably fine. I've never seen that before. That's a bitey thing? Okay. The way I do this is I cancel the dash at the skull and walk down left. Except actually what I do is I go for the hammer dash strat every time now. If you want to learn that, if you want to talk about that, I'm happy to go over it, but keep looking at this for now. Hold on, I can hear you mashing. Give me a sec. Okay, so you don't want to start mashing the instant that you touch the water. You want to swim like a few frames, like maybe 15 frames or something before you start mashing swim. How much does Hammer Dash save? So when you go down, Hammer Dash saves about 20 frames. What you do is you go down here, and then if you get lucky, you Hammer Dash, and if you get unlucky, if you get lucky, you save about 20 frames. If you get unlucky, you have to hammer the guy, and then it breaks even. So it's like basically totally safe. I mean, you have to learn it, but it's like time-wise, it's totally safe, and sometimes you save like 15 or 20 frames, whatever it is. But yeah, so you should start swimming. You should start matching swim when you've like moved a little bit instead of instantly. You're probably doing that everywhere else. That's just the first time I paid attention to your mashing sounds. Looked like pretty good pumping. One thing I like to do is pump along this wall and then fuck up the dash and lose way more time than you can save. That looked pretty good. But it loses time. I think that the time save is like very close to the amount that the hammer animation costs you. Maybe it loses a couple frames if you don't get lucky. So let's see here. Let's rewind again. Like maybe it saves 20 frames and costs 24 frames and you have to hammer or whatever. But I'm quite sure that it's positive EV. Okay, so this is a 445 big key. If you game, it's just about 3 minutes from big key to sort up. You can do under 3 minutes if you really game or you get a little lucky or whatever, but 3 minutes from big key to sort up should be a pretty good target. If you miss the 0 cycle, then it's like 6 extra seconds. You don't even go for 0 cycle. Okay, so then it's like 306. You want to nudge this pot. You go down a little bit too much. Nudging the pot guarantees that you get a good hop here. Okay, so I don't know if you just always do this. This was definitely the correct response to this RNG. I don't know if that was because you always do this or because you correctly read the RNG, but this dash up here is really good. I like that. Okay, cool. You do know what you're doing. Perfect. There's also a hammer dash here, but I don't do this one. Okay, so this is interesting. So this time through the room, you actually did this movement very close to the way that I do it. Last time, so this time you just walk up here and start your dash here, which is great. You want to be a tiny bit off the wall. Last time you diagonaled all the way over here. It must have been skeleton related fears or something, because I think that this is better. Yeah. Why does that work? How you hit ledges impacts the hop that you get, and that just normalizes how you hit the ledge, I think. So the movement that I recommend here is holding up, to walk up a step, ideally very little, but the pixels here work out such that if you hold up, if you like stay at this horizontal alignment, then your dash will take you here. It's like being gridded, except you're not gridded because you're getting 3 pixels per frame, but it works out correctly to be lined up with the stairs if you do that. Press the wrong button again. Yeah, it's got to be the same basic mechanic. Relkin. I don't actually, I've never thought about that, but yeah. So you probably read the RNG on this thing. I always forget to. I do this room really badly. Okay, so he's not going, which means I think that means you didn't need to slash. Yeah, I think you had time to just dash. That's okay. It's not a big deal. It's a little bit bad just because this guy is so close to you on this RNG, and maybe it was a little scary for that reason, but it's fine. Here, I think you can hookshot from like here. You take like a tiny bit of an extra step. That's not a big deal. Just, you know, if you want to limit test. So here we go a little bit, we do a little bit of extra walking before we hookshot, and walking in water is really slow. It's all right. I think we know what happened there. Okay. This is a really hard room. I think it's a really fun room, but it's a very difficult room. And you're seeing why. Going for the left cancel there. Really fine. Oh, sorry. I meant to say this out loud. I'm gonna not talk about this room. We'll see how it goes in subsequent attempts, and we'll deal with it then. Should he have skipped the arrow pot? I never skip this arrow pot. My arrow route is just different than yours. On 23 arrows, what do you need? You need 8 for Vidi. So then you're at like 15. Yeah, I guess you should have skipped it technically, but you're probably not doing mic chest, so probably not. I don't know, it's complicated. So in this room, this is maybe not... I feel unconfident about this room, but I think that if you walk up left out of this door, you're more safe than if you do the vertical walk that you did. So the way I do this is I walk up left, but not as high as you did. I walk up left maybe just 4 pixels-ish, and then dash right. You do kind of more water walking. This is like kind of a lot of water walking because you're missing out on, this is like maybe 16 full pixels of water dashing at the end of the room. So this is, you know, not a ton, but a little bit of time. You definitely shouldn't have gotten both arrow pots. That's pretty clear. Oh my gosh. Woo! We are swimming. So this up left swim here, I think is pretty bad because any speed that you gain from swimming, you lose once you bonk your head on the wall, on the like rim of the pool. This is like pretty heroic, and you actually do pull it off, so I can't say too much bad about it, but I would have just tanked it, dude. Like you nailed this landing, so I think you did actually save time with what you went for, but I would not trust myself to do that. All right, and so then we get in here 632. I don't really remember what that means. And we are not zero cyclers. It was definitely gaming. If you can really do that, like if you're good enough at swimming in that pool to pull that kind of thing off, then that's awesome. Okay, so that's you lost around 6 seconds not going for the zero cycle and around 1 more second not going for the other thing, but you're also haven't menued to mirror yet, so that basically cancels out the second of time loss. So we would like this to be a 751. Based on our big key time. But it was about a 754. So we lost a few more seconds. I mean, obviously we lost probably 2 full seconds in hook dash room. So that's most of the time lost between big key and boss. There's also a couple little things like a little bit too much water walking here, stuff like that. But mostly fine. I think you lost more time getting into the dungeon than you lost after the big key. So yeah. You do still want to do the menu to mirror on the rise, it's true. It's arguable that you would rather do it for the quick warp. If you can't get the quick warp without the menu, then it saves more time to get a quick warp than it saves to get the Argus rise, but I don't know. Okay, Swamp 2. I should have checked your ether time on the other one. I guess we can go back and look. So this is, yeah. We read that we were in trouble here. Did we do the right thing about it? So I would cancel my dash like almost immediately and beam this guy downwards. Dashing into a dead rock is really scary. Like if he had gone at a slightly different angle, you would have been a lot more sad. So I think that that's a small mistake. I don't like that you stand still before trying to arm speed. This is maybe like a grip swap or something, but you see you actually I think I saw you stand still before going for it. Maybe I'm crazy. Oh, wow, okay. So I did just describe a strat earlier in which you want to drag against this cliff, but you don't want to drag against this cliff unless you're specifically doing the Casnode thing. But you can see here, you're holding right. Your link slows down a lot when you get to this slope. Watch this. You see that? You really want to be holding up right there unless you're doing the specific manipulation stuff. Get better RNG this time, so everything's good. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we've got a 55.4 read here. I want to check what it was in the other one. Other one we had this trouble with the squirrel, but I think not really much else. I think we had better. Oh, this was 56.8. Where did we lose 2 seconds on this one? Oh, we had trouble getting into the portal. We got better luck on the first dead rock. Although that still scared me a little bit. Oh, we had more trouble getting spin speed. Yes, that's correct, Relkin. Yeah, we got the drag there too. All right, so we lost a lot of time basically on spin speed, and then we didn't get into the portal. Oh, and that is a rough menu as well. I didn't know that last time. And so, yeah. So you see how even with an extra menu on this one, it was 2 seconds faster than the first one. That's interesting. It didn't really feel that different to me, but yeah, pretty big difference. 40 days and 40 nights in menus, yeah. Okay, that time, this is interesting. This time you canceled the dash really early and then diagonaled. Last time you actually canceled the dash basically perfectly and then still diagonaled and overshot where you needed to go down. I wonder if you're just like used to canceling it early and used to doing the diagonal. I think you overshot this. Good. Good to try and stay on the short grass. I think the thing to do here is you just dash to this tile and then dash down. I don't think there's anything fancier than that, but maybe I'm wrong. Does the top position nudge the slope on the dash left in Dark Worlds? I think you'll have to rephrase that. I'm not sure what you're asking about, sorry. Um, this is a pretty busy and difficult screen. You got good RNG twice in a row, so it looks less hard than it actually is. Wow, that is a really piggy looking face in this downward facing sprite. But you are not canceling Stair Drag here, I don't think, and you could be for 7 or 8 frames. What I've been trying to do lately, I say lately as if I ever play this video game, is I've been trying to use the menu buffer here. I don't remember what I was trying to do. I was trying to do something with the menu buffer to make canceling Stair Drag easier. When you workshopped it, you failed every time. Okay. Does the oh yes, it does, Relkin. I think if you don't want to do the stair drag cancel because it's too hard to do everything on that screen right, I think that's fine. It's just something to be aware of. Okay, almost exactly the same time in. So you were 2 seconds faster to reading the book and saved basically no time by the time you actually entered the dungeon. Interesting. Where'd all the time go? Use the menu to read the Moblin RNG. I think that's totally fine. Genuinely not sure where the time went. Because you should have also saved time. Well, maybe you didn't save time in this room. Taking damage from the anti-fairy doesn't cost a lot of time. Okay, we did this right this time. So that was fine. I think you did this correctly where you just like hold upright out of this. Uh you started this dash really early. I think I would have walked a little farther upright. You can to some extent read the Felp RNG and decide to dash a little bit later, and this guy's like kind of far over. This is probably fine though. Like you're definitely gonna get these two. I don't know. Something to think about. Having to beam that guy is very painful. But I don't think you could actually see him in time to do anything about it, so fine. Hey, you have exactly 23 arrows again. That's fun. Okay. Okay, I don't like that. So I don't mind trying to get a couple frames of Cardinal here. I don't do it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The menu is to read the berry and dash below. That sounds fake as hell. Just dash. Is it actually possible? I don't think I've ever gotten hit by this guy. Is it actually possible to not be able to dash in time? Maybe there's some RNG. To avoid splitting him? Oh, you lost more frames than you can save on live by doing all this extra walking. And starting your dash late and stuff. There's like 8 frames or something. No. Very much. So there's 3 things that affect lag during this cutscene. The 3 things are your rupee lag. So you do have bad rupee lag. The second thing is number of sprites, so that the extra sprite can add a couple of extra frames. And then the third one is if you despawn your shield. And so in the case where you have bad rupee lag and you've split the guy, then it's like really worth grabbing the wall. In all other cases, honestly, I just don't bother. I think it's like quite hard to actually save time with it unless you're like really fucked on both other factors. So I would like not really worry about this. I do think that with bad rupee lag and splitting the moblin or the berry, I think it's like probably worth grabbing. Okay, that was a little unfortunate, but your fault. You canceled this dash really far to the right. You should have canceled it when you're under him. Which would have been better movement, and I think would also have caused your slash to hit the guy before the beam did. It would have at least given you a chance. And then walking this out is like pretty painful. Maybe you were forced to. Probably you weren't. Yeah, I think you probably should have dashed left. Okay, that's enough griping about that. Okay, this looks good. Last time, I didn't want to say anything, but last time you canceled your dash kind of early. That looked good. Yeah, we're doing this good. Yeah, you were just worried about the stealth post last time. You might have even been right too. I'm if you have beams, it's technically a little faster to beam left when you're like slightly off the pegs or whatever, so that you hit the switch with your beams. Doesn't matter though. Okay. This stuff all looks fine. Um, Yeah, not a lot to say about these. The hammer dash here does save a few frames. You don't have to do it, but... Oh, I was late to pause. Basically tied with your gold. That makes sense. So here we've got 443. So we're about 2 seconds ahead. So we were 2 seconds ahead at Ether. We lost all the time back in the entrance, and then we're 2 seconds ahead again. So we've actually saved 4 seconds on the previous segment, although we lost some of it as well. So on this RNG, I would do something stupid. What you did was fine. I find that room very difficult. Okay, that was weird. Huh. Okay, I was about to say you should have killed him, but you're saying it to yourself already, so yeah. I guess I should say, I'm not sure, I didn't pay attention last time, but here, the way you actually want to do this, you pick this up, you only have to move like 1 or 2 pixels right, and then you should just start your dash. You're doing like a big walk right, and then you're also walking left. You can just tap right and start a dash. All right, why did we get owned here? We might need Josh to explain this one. This looks like you should be fine here. That's pretty unfortunate. I think you got a little unlucky. Good snap, by the way. Yeah, okay. So again, you're taking kind of a longer walk. You're like overshooting vertically and then you're taking a step left before going. That's like, I don't think you're like necessarily consciously making a bad pathing decision, but just like this is something you could tighten up. And because it's walking in water, it's like so slow that you really do want to get it right. Yeah, maybe just burned a few extra frames on the key pod or whatever, yeah. So this is fine. I might want to talk a little bit about hook dash later, but that went a lot better. Okay, yeah. So that's a lot more like the movement I recommended earlier. I'm not sure what happened in the last one, but I like that. We're super good on resources, so we can go. Yeah, so there you see, this was what I was cautioning about earlier. Whenever you hit the wall, you lose all of your horizontal momentum. So by undershooting this, you lose a kind of a lot of time. Swimming is really, really hard. The reason I was saying earlier I would just like have tanked the hit on the last one is because anytime I have to do swimming rather than just like do the dumbest, most obvious thing I've done a million times, it's just like so difficult to do anything right other than the exact thing you've practiced. And so I just like, I don't try to do anything right in here. I just tank it. So we're significantly ahead of last run going in here. The back of this went a lot better than last time. And like, obviously you're not going for the 0 cycle, so there's not a lot to say here. You are more than capable of doing the 1 cycle correctly. That's menu is supposed to be right, right. Woo! All right, we got that, but it scared me. Oh! Okay, and so we had a 43 and we don't go for the 0 cycle, so we'd want like a 49. And we get... Or I guess a 48 because you haven't... No, yeah, 49. a 50. Okay, so that's not bad. That's a pretty good swamp. A 49 or a 50. So if you were zero cycling, that would be like a 44, which is like plenty good for your 124 level, right? Like that's, you're probably not too happy about that if you're going for a 123, but I think if you're going for a 124 and you're getting swamps like that, then I think you're pretty happy. I think that that would be a good swamp. I think that you don't, it's not mandatory that you start going for, I hate autoplay, that you start going for the zero cycle, but I do think that 6 seconds is a lot. And so if you wanted to learn the zero cycle, it would be pretty valuable. But we can think about that later. Let's look at the third one. Okay. So you are not using the tool that you have here. Now you have the hat. The hat will save us. Okay, the tool that you have a really powerful tool here, which is beams. Beam hitboxes are gigantic and they move cardinally, which means that you can get, what are they called? Squirrels. Get dead rocks out of your way without any danger, because normally slashing at dead rocks is really scary because they might go diagonally at an unpredictable trajectory and then like land right here and block your path. But if you hit them with beams, their trajectory is really predictable and you can be really far away from them while doing it. So what you really want to go for here, and the last one, it was like maybe a little borderline, like you took a risky dash, but I can see why a person might take that risky dash. On this one, I think it's quite clear that the solution is to beam downwards at this guy, and honestly, maybe also at this guy if you're scared. But like beaming downwards at this guy is 100% the solution to this problem. It's like, I think pretty clear before you start that dash that it's not going to work, or that it's a very high risk dash to start. Let me watch it again to see if that's true. Yeah. So starting this dash was already like he was positioned to fuck you. So I would just like be facing down here, walk a step down right, and then beam him, and then he'll be knocked out of the way, and he'll again beams cardinal, will give cardinal knockback. He'll be just like very safely out of your way here. And so then you do that second dash does end up working out, but that was a little scary as well. A little bit sloppy super speed movement. Super speed movement is really difficult, so it's fine. It happens, but you really just want to switch to up left here, and you kind of do a long walk up. So you want to nudge against this. This is like a flat vertical section of wall here, even though it doesn't look like it, and you just want to nudge against that. I thought so, yeah, it looked like it. Okay, that time we pause buffered at kind of the right spot. I think because we dragged against this, you're not actually, oh no, you would just overshot by 1 frame, because this is the lineup, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then you just go 1 frame farther. Okay. So you just missed the timing. That's totally fine. Again, if you want to go for this try hard setup, I think it's like fine. Like plenty of top runners do it. Personally, I just go for the easy Cas node setup though. Okay. Yeah, again, like this dash. The first one, I kind of thought that you could have gone for the risky dash. This time, I kind of think that you knew maybe this wasn't going to work. I think the problem with this dash, the other dash, like, if he went right, you would have gotten lucky and been able to go. And if he went down, like, he wasn't just going to dash straight into you. Whereas this one, I think he's just going to hit you if he goes down. I don't know. This might be cope on my part. I might just be making stuff up. Okay, good many this time. And a 54 again. So this is about even with our second swap up to this point. That looks good. The ancient wisdom is that you should beam this guy. If he's like up here, you could beam him like now, and then maybe it saves more lag on the transition than it costs to beam him. I don't really buy it, but that's what the ancient scrolls say. Okay, so you did read the RNG there with the menu, but maybe we didn't handle this perfectly. What actually happened there? He spawns a rupee, isn't it still bad? Nah, probably. That sounds right. Yeah, you just hold up here. Very strange. I think the thing you're supposed to do on this RNG is just wait for the spear and take it. Panic. Yeah. Again, I said it the first two times. This is a very hard screen for me. I get it. I've done dumb shit to that moblin a lot of times. What inputs are you doing that this was even possible? I don't know what's going on in this one. You should start holding A here and not let go of it until you're like this far into the pulling animation. I actually think that's really funny, Drosy. I think it adds to the impact of the joke. Okay, and then we've got like basically the same entrance time. So we've got all three of our swamp entrance times were within half a second of each other, but with pretty different stuff happening. Like on this one, you had a good ether time, and then you lost a lot of time here into the anti-fairy. And the first one, you had like kind of a worse ether time, but then got here as well. I'm not trying to say anything in particular, just like the first 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes and 9 seconds of swamp are like, there's a lot going on. I mean, you know that. Death Mountain is a nightmare. I don't think you did this swim the same way all three times. Am I crazy? Yeah, you turned up way earlier this time. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this one, again, I would have held upright a little more. Your dash did hit this guy, so actually you were fine. And there's no reason to worry about it. But he was kind of far right for my taste, and I would have probably wanted to be a little bit more confident that I would hit him. But that looks good. What's up, beer? Yeah, we went a little too far over here. What's our resources? So we have no arrows. I don't really want to do arrow routing because it depends on other stuff. But at 10 arrows here, I think most people are getting restock rune. So I want to talk about this a tiny bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to kill this guy with the pot. But I also think that you can just throw the pot instantly and save a couple frames. So okay. We've already talked about, I don't really think not splitting the guy is worth it, but maybe I'm wrong. You could do your own science on the lag, whatever. I think that if you want to do that, putting this menu right here and then having to dash instantly out of the menu is causing you human error frames. So you see we walk 5 frames or something, maybe not quite 5, but like 5-ish frames before you manage to start the dash out of the menu. You want to find a way to place the menu where it's not causing you those extra error frames. You can use it to read that and do the lag adjustment if you think it's worth it. But you want to find a way to do it that doesn't also cause error frames. Okay. Sure, that happens. Okay, so this is fine. I don't really care if you keep doing it this way, but to be really precise, it is a little bit faster to carry this dash very far left and walk out the rest. This dash is like worth doing from here, but it's not worth doing from here. If you just want to do it this way so that it's always a dash left into this corridor all like 3 times or whatever that you go over here, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but probably technically not optimal. Here, yeah, you're gonna get hit. Oh, you didn't get hit. Nice. I thought you were gonna get hit, but you made the right decision just walking into it, and if it happens, it happens. Again, I'm trying not to point things out a bunch of times repetitively, but you can see you're a little bit low flashing that. You are very consistent, by the way, at getting like exactly this far off of the switch, which is like probably good. Trying to shave frames off of that is really risky. Yeah, I've done that too. This is like an insanely minor nitpick and you shouldn't really worry about it, but you can push these blocks faster. Like you can probably switch to up here. And that gets this block push started earlier and thus lets you get out earlier. It's a dumb thing to optimize, but there you go. Oh yeah, I guess I should have pointed this out. So a long time ago, dearly departed Yoho went through every split and found out where you should be at 420 so that you can say you're blazing it. And you ideally are going up this door frame around 420, and that means that you're blazing it. So we're a few seconds behind, so we're not blazing it in this run. What's up, Moogle? All right, so this is another 443 big key. So last time we had a 443 big key and we got out of here with a 750, which is pretty good if you're not doing the 0 cycle. Could be better, but definitely totally fine. Let's see how we do this time. Again, I'm not actually good at dealing with the RNG in this room, so I think on these kinds of RNGs, I generally go for a right dash here and then just sort of pray that something good happens, which is basically what you do. So seems fine. What's up, Talithar? Oh, you did this mistake again. Okay. Doing this mistake once is like fine. Maybe your D-pad messed you up or something. Doing it twice, you need to look at this. Whatever is happening that is causing you to end up in this gap here. You need to, I don't know, do this 5 times in a row to like hammer into your head whatever the D-pad inputs are, because that's a goofy thing to happen twice. Okay, that time you definitely need to slash, and you did. Okay. This was much better. You did this like instantly as soon as you had cleared the corner. This is what I was saying. On the last two, you like kind of took bigger steps, and I was saying it doesn't really look like you're doing that so much as that you were just a little sloppy on your movement. This time you were much tighter in your movement. So if you're just like trying to do it this way and you were a little bit sloppy on the other two, that's totally fine. That's the kind of thing that, you get reps on. Okay, so don't ever do this. If you don't have the hook dash state, just keep holding up and mashing A. I'm actually not sure where you need to... I'm not even sure you need to hold up, but you could just mash A here and you will eventually get the pot pickup. It'll take you a few tries, but the hook dash causes you to get it first try every time when you tap A. Just mash A. You knew it was coming, okay. Yeah, you just don't need to do this. Oh no, dude, okay. All right. And now we do this one this time. Okay, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but you do know this. This time you picked this pot up and you just walked cardinal right. Started your dash, which is the correct way to handle this. So you did this, obviously the left side went crazy, but you did the right side of this room really well this time. You pick this up, you want to pick it up a little farther left, whatever, okay. That's a fake nitpick. But you do this part really well. You pick it up, you tap right, and you dash up. And you want to be far enough right that you're not... Like, you have to be a whole tile off of this so that you don't dash into this guy and you're lined up with the door. And, like, the only thing I would say about this is, like, you should probably have thrown this pot at the berry. But movement-wise, this is very clean. This is much cleaner movement than you had the last two runs. Can we look at the first one again? Yeah. This is a repeated mistake, by the way, although in the second one it was because you were losing your mind. So in this one, you see you first of all, you tried to dip and then turn up. If you're gonna dip, you shouldn't really dip, but if you're gonna, there's no reason to move back upwards on this one. And so like the dip is sort of like a small mistake, and then you also move up too far as a like compounding mistake. Yeah, you just didn't hang around long enough. You walked right back off of them before they had actually become active. Because when you pick up a pot, the item sort of has to bounce before you can pick it up. Taking the step down, again, not the end of the world if you do it, but unnecessary. And then like, I don't know exactly what happened here. This was just like such a nice execution of this movement. It's funny that you like were doing this a few days before, because this is like very nice. You can throw the pot at the berry if he's in your way. So what I'll do if he's in my way, I'll pick up the pot and then I will take a step down and then take a step up to throw it at him, depending on exactly where he is. On here he's like quite high up, so you can just throw it. But sometimes he's like right in your face over here. I don't know if my mouse is getting captured. I hope it is. Sometimes he's like right in your face, and then you need to like kind of walk down enough that you can safely throw it at him. But yeah, throwing the pot to get the berry out of the way, because sometimes he'll electrify, and that's bad. So the pot can be useful to throw at him. But in terms of like the default movement of like pick up the pot, tap right, dash up, this is like very clean. Really good. I think we got good RNG on this guy all 3 runs, which is nice. But 15 arrows, without Mike Chest, you're like for sure supposed to get the restock room. So you did this room 3 times. Twice you held up and 1 time you held up left. I like holding up left in here. I don't feel super strongly about it. I think it's a little safer, but I don't have numbers or whatever. I will say that you shouldn't be walking up this high, whatever you're doing. This is a little too high. And I also would say that just like probably do the same thing every time. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting the arrows. We're all good. I forget the breakpoints. My breakpoints are weird because of routing in Mike Chest from the beginning. Yeah. So, I think this was fine. I think you're just gonna get hit here. It doesn't matter. I think that probably just hold left. Maybe you actually did. Maybe you were still in recoil or whatever. And like it is true that it's better to undershoot and lose your speed than it is to overshoot and have to swim backwards. So like I understand playing it a little safe here, but like man, does it suck. Are you supposed to up left in waterfall room? So I don't know. I think so. I think that it's a little bit safer if you hold up left out of the door. It's definitely safer to hold up left if you like take a big step or whatever. But assuming you're only going to walk like a couple pixels out of the door, like you're going to try to be very tight on your dash, I do think that up left is a little bit safer. It's not a lot safer, and it's like a tiny bit safer and a tiny bit slower, and I think it's worth it, but like I totally respect people just going for straight up. Um, I don't know. I do like the up left. I feel like it's a little safer, but I couldn't prove it to you. Okay, so we had a 43, I think, again. Are we fire routing this time? Okay, that was a much better phase 2. That's an 803. Oops. Oh, you cut this one a little tighter. But yeah, so that was an 803. With again 443. So we lost well 20 seconds inclusive of the 6 from not zero cycling, so like 14 seconds. You lost a lot of time in hook dash. Yeah, that was probably most of it. You lost a fair amount in Phelps Way as well, some to RNG and some to bad swimming. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to my Nintendo for a second. When you're doing the phase 2 of Argus, I think that you want to stand a little bit higher so that his downwards movement is good for you. I think that the biggest thing... Well, hold on. So I stand pretty high, but like just sort of right off of this rim here. It's been a while. It makes it so that your shot is moving down and he's moving down at the same time, and it like gives you a little bit more time before he's bouncing up at you. It just makes it a little bit safer and easier. Yeah, that's about where I put it. Yeah, I started getting that like a year ago, PH. I don't know why that message pops up. DoopTap always says that the zero cycle isn't mandatory until you're like a 123 runner, and I think he's right, but it's pretty unlikely that there's an easier way for you to save 6 seconds anymore. Yeah, you can get frame ruled if you get really unlucky, and it also just gives you more time before the bouncing is coming back at you, and it just makes it a little bit easier. So you don't have to learn the zero cycle if it's really hard for you, if you just don't feel like it or whatever. But, you know, it's probably going to be hard to save 6 seconds anywhere else. And Telthar's about to finish saying this, but yeah, it's like pretty easy to get good enough at it to not lose time. I don't know that I'm a good person to teach it. I don't know that now's best time to teach it. One of my favorite things is watching people who are good at the zero cycle be like, it's not even that hard, and then completely fail to explain anything to anybody who's watching, which is always really funny. Yeah, so learning how to deal with the puff order is like a big part of the problem. But there's a bunch of mechanical stuff. There's like a relatively high mechanical burden to just being able to do that, to press the buttons with the right timing and do things like there. I went for an empty Tink on purpose because I knew I needed to move over a certain distance and whatever. There's like a relatively high technical bar. And then after that, you have to like really understand the puff order correctly. So it's like not at all free, but if you can get it 10% of the time and you don't ever lose time, then like that's fine. Okay. The other thing I just want to do squirrels a couple times. I forgot how to do that. Just to sort of like, so like here he got out of my way in time. Again, like that one was a tiny bit risky, but I think that one again risky, but I think okay. Do you see how early I canceled that dash? I saw him going up. I canceled my dash like as soon as I saw that he was going up, so that I could slash him out of my way. They're being very friendly. Yeah, and there I was worried. I didn't think he was going to be out of my way. This is another thing I pointed out. You just want to diagonal up here. Up. Oh my god, okay. Technically, it's probably optimal to walk onto the stairs before slashing, but I generally just slash instantly because getting hit while your sword is charging, that time I was actually a little bit too scared. Like, you get a little bit more full movement speed by slashing later, but just getting to the point where you can do spin speed before you get hit by a boulder, I think dominates the turns. More important concern. So yeah, this, you go up here, then hold right, then hold up right here, and then just hold left at any of the 3 pixels where you hit the portal. That's your quick warp. Oh, I changed my 58. Yeah, you were holding up a little bit too long. It's kind of weird. You were going for it. You were having shambles and getting 2 cycles. Yeah, I mean, it's fine to just be like, okay, well, I give up on the 0 cycle for a while. But you can definitely go back and like spend another hour or 2, and then you'll stop having the shambles once you learn a little bit more about it. So yeah, I think that, okay, what were the 3 main things? Obviously 0 cycle is just like, it doesn't feel that important because it's like, it's just it's kind of binary, and you either are getting it or you're not. But it's a big number. It's a big amount of time. Okay, the next thing I think handling squirrels. I think being really safe with squirrels is like very recommended. I don't advocate dashing towards them when you're 80% sure that you're gonna get by. Like, just beam them and move on with your life. Some of the swimming was sus. I think you're like trying to do stuff in Phelps' way. I think almost all the time I would recommend holding left, just taking the damage. Hook dash is a very difficult room. I saw you execute it extremely well once, so you know how. Right, something like that. That's not even that great. I think you can get sub 12. But oh my god, terrible RNG. Just like, maybe it's worth some individual practice so that you don't lose your mind 1 out of 3 times. Tiny bit better. Was there anything else? Yeah, swimming is bad. Okay, so is this, do I get a timer on splashing out of the water? 5:34. I do this swim weird, but 640. Yeah, so you want to swim a beat. Oh my god, I cannot do this. You want to swim a beat before mashing, basically. What I was trying to get to. It's very hard to demonstrate. Why are we diagonaling into the statue? There we go. You wanna swim a beat before mashing the swim. Was I diagonaling into the statue? I might have just started my diagonal a tiny bit early. Obviously, you want to wiggle against the statue. Whoa. Oops. You do want to start your diagonal wiggles immediately to get as much wiggling as possible. I blew it. So I presumably was just starting my diagonal early. I don't know. I'm not particularly good at this room, although I do think it's pretty fun. Oh my gosh, okay. What was that? I think I was just... Yeah, statues are just weird. Well, if I Christos it, I don't even get a pushing sound. I can hold down left, too. I don't know. I didn't know about that. Also, this is something I've never really fixed, but like... Probably you want to end your wiggle like really far to the right. Similarly in like... Mummy room. If you're like really gaming, then you finish your wiggles really high up so that you can just hold up left at the end of the room and like kind of get into that gap. You should be able to hook down after the statue. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. They got out of my way and my movement worked out really well. They don't usually go that well. Okay, I think that those were the main things. I think that your swamp is like fine. The thing is you've done all of the pieces of it totally fine. But it's hard to bring them all together, and I think that that's going to be like tightening stuff up for the most part. I do think that your approach to Dead Rocks is currently too risky, but other than that, I don't think that there was any room that you like blew it in all 3 times. There's things where like maybe you weren't handling this guy as well as you could. And I think that like getting better at dealing with him on all RNGs will save you time on average and cause you to not freak out and stuff. But there wasn't anywhere that was like, oh my god, come on. There was like obviously like you didn't know what you were doing. Whatever. Yeah, see, it's about... I lost 8 frames that time. I also nudged though, so it's probably not quite 8 frames. Yeah, like 5 frames or whatever. So yeah, is there anything else? I hope that this was useful. Definitely some small tips that you should be able to implement pretty easily, like nudging the pot on the key dash after, or on the dash after big key and stuff like that. This holding up here, I think another just like free way to save a few frames. So hopefully that stuff works out, and then hopefully some maybe slightly better approaches to dealing with some RNGs or whatever. Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, let me know if you have any other questions. If there's anything you want me to look at right now. That's also an 815 in your next run. Yeah. Well, it's not the next run that matters. It's only the next PB that matters. Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that it was helpful. I hope maybe somebody else got something out of it. I'm good stream. Gonna raid Ash, who has become my standard late night raid target lately. He is doing some trash. All right. Goodbye forever.